Welcome back. This is that Youmu hack and slash game. Also, Youmu, Swordplay, Reverie, and a whole bunch of other alternate titles it goes by. I'm clipsvh as always, and in this level, crows. The crows kind of have a basic pattern of attack. They'll notice you, they'll call, and then they'll charge at you. Yeah, you see what I mean about it, just kind of resetting your selection on your skill. We've got a couple little hidden areas like that around the waterfall. It's kind of a pain. Now, in the same way that you can have a bigger and better Youmu, I suppose, inversely, it's also possible to do a kind of like a challenge run, get none of the extra skill orbs, beat the game with only 3. It's certainly possible. I'm sorry, I have a tendency to just kind of obsessively destroy every pod I see in this game, and you'll have to bear with that. So this is another platforming area, and it'll introduce a few gimmicks, like these floating platforms. Now, why there are big, giant floating platforms in Gensokyo, I don't know. Kappa? Nitori? I don't know. Pick any excuse you want. Yukari's fooling around again. Moria Shrine Conspiracy. Templates like that are forbidden. Alright, so we want to go up, so we gotta wait for one of these platforms. A couple different platforms. Some go vertical, some go horizontal. Right now we wanted to catch that vertical one, so we're gonna wait for it again. And there it is. Now, if we fall off one of these, it's very possible to just, hit whichever one is under it. But, unfortunately, the game doesn't like to let that happen for some reason, so if you fall for a long enough time, it'll respawn you. So, if you're high enough, a fall is basically just instant death. Think of it as that. Well, maybe not instant death, but it's death. It's death. Even though Youmu can fly. I actually like these panels. They add like a kind of like an interesting element to me. Well, they're not really that interesting now, are they? I mean, these floating kind of bits are common in platformers because they're platforms. I just like them in this game, okay? There's another checkpoint, so if you fall, that's where we'll end up. You see the waterfall, we see a whole bunch of leaves. And if this reminds you of Stage 4 in Mountain of Faith, that's because it's basically the same place. See, we don't want to do that, because this is the kind of place where doing that would be kind of dangerous. But that dash attack can add a little bit of length to a jump, if you were to do it right. There aren't many places where it's going to really come in handy at all, but, it's a nice thing to know. If you ever find yourself in a certain situation where you think it might be useful, you can go ahead and do that. Caw. Alright, so this time instead of being impatient, we'll wait for this one. There we go. So I could also be wrong, and that one yellow pot could be the lone yellow pot of this level, and maybe I didn't miss any in the last one. I've confused myself. General rule of thumb, there's usually like 3 of those yellow pots in each level, but some levels are kind of like half levels. It's really weird, because there's another one over there, so I'm kind of mistaken here. There are 3 per level. Don't listen to what I said before. You know what? I'm just going to edit that out. Alright, so that's one more yellow pot. Contrary to what it might look like, I don't think we can actually jump there, so. I don't think there's anything else in this direction, but may as well double check. No, that was it. So we'll go in the other direction. So, Momiji doesn't want to let us through. Unfortunately, we're going to have to disappoint her. That counter. Yeah, you really don't see... Well, maybe just kind of proving my point. You really don't want to screw up against the bosses. Momiji is kind of really straightforward. She'll probably show off most, if not all, her patterns by the time we're done here. She'll do her really crazy bullet pattern from the shooters. Yeah, see what I mean when you can change your direction like that? You want to be... If you're not too bad at it, go for it, but you want to be careful with it because you can just end up missing completely, and that'll be unfortunate because then you'll have to wait a bit before your spell card comes back up. And with Momiji's defeat, we're allowed to move forward. See these little froggy platforms, and they'll do this. And these little green platforms are kind of like, yeah. And you got like little windmill platforms. You see something over there? Let's go up here first. See what we got. Oh, no. Yeah, see, you can see what I mean when I tell you that falling too far down is kind of like, you know, basically equivalent to death. I think these are really high and they'll bring us practically almost to the top, I think. And I think there's something to get on this little windmill if we get the timing right. Probably pick the most, oh, that's beautiful. Probably pick the most inopportune moment to, get there at that time. Fare better this time. There we go. There's our third yellow pop for the level. Unfortunately, we're going to be working on a deficit, but, you know, happens. So, I mean, like, if you're curious, I am pretty much just using, oh, cool. I am just using the D-pad for the majority of these, sections of waterfall. I just find the oh, come on. I just find the platforming is a lot easier. Even though I'm not really, you know, kind of proving my point here, but it is, okay? Just trust me on this. Oh, I'm going the wrong way, that's right. Oops. Now it's changing directions on us. Or, well, rather, camera angles. I wonder who our boss for this way. Oh, it's Aya. This boss music isn't Wood God Girl, but it is instead her boss theme from Crown of Faith. So she's got her little tornado, she's got her ring bullets, and she'll of course do what she did. If she'll show it. No, Aya, show off your little thing. Come on. No, that's not what I. All right, fine. Don't show it off. I'll just beat the crap. There she goes. She'll zigzag at you. You don't want to get caught by that zigzag. She can stun lock you pretty good with it. Best course of action is to kind of do your best to try to run in a straight line. Just make sure you're not too close to her like I was. I was kind of ballsy there, but, you know. Just don't run directly away from her in a straight line because, well, obvious reasons. If I'm not mistaken, when zooming around like that, she will just kind of go up with you, although I'm maybe thinking of a different attack. She's just getting pretty close. Although, in fact, I'm also walking right into these projectiles is not helping at all. Yeah, that, okay, let's take another stab at this. Again, like pretty much every other boss, she's really only gonna destroy you, you know, if you kind of let her. There's that big, well, I kind of, actually, you know what, forget what I was about to say. I'm gonna edit that out, too. But that big shadow, I kind of conflate that with, Kaneko, you know, reminds us where we are. Now, you can't just unlock the enemy, the boss. After a while, they will just kind of become immune. Like Aya did there. Dang it, Aya, work with me, come on. She'll use her spell card, which is pretty rough. Yeah. She'll send a couple swirly little ring formations at you, and along with that, she'll send out a pulse of bullets in a full circle every so often with them, while she has a tornado in the middle to pull you in. It's kind of a rough spell card, and if you're not careful like I wasn't before, it will pretty much just end you. If you don't want that to happen, you want to be careful. See, I didn't do it right that time. You'll notice I'm not really saying much about all these characters. I think, I think you can just, you know, go onto that Touhou wiki and, you know, figure it all out for yourself. That's what I had to do. That's what everybody does, I think. And besides, there are people who already kind of talk about the characters in their own way, and there's no real reason to spread information around, spread misinformation around. To be completely honest with you, I'm not completely read up on my Touhou lore, as it were, but, you know, there you go. And by Touhou lore, I'm of course referring to the written works. I mostly just play the games. But I do. I read some of them. Alright, enough of that. get back to the game. I think Aya is probably the one boss I have the hardest time with in this game. If only maybe for her last spell card. And that. Although, you know, I've disproven myself before on these channels, so... You can, of course, protect yourself from her little zoomy zigzag with your shield, but it's not as... It'll protect you, but not as well as just running in a straight line will. Okay. There we go. And with that, we'll call it here. See you all next time. Aya is one of my top 10 Touhous, and I have surprisingly little to say during this boss fight.